Welcome back to RTOD. Today we're going to be talking about two fairly common issues with older Game Boys. The first one is either no audio coming out or just bad audio. Take a listen. Very indicative of a blown speaker on this, so we're going to talk about fixing this and a replacement. And sometimes the controls just feel a little sluggish. Maybe you have to push a little too hard to move around on the screen. So we'll talk about what can we do to rectify this and clean this up a little bit. Stay tuned. All right, so let's start off with our audio problem. I already know this is a blown speaker. It sounds like it. And I was able to get a replacement. You can source these for a couple bucks on eBay or other resellers. Not much to it. It's a very, very simple speaker. But before we tear this apart, let me walk you through some of the troubleshooting that you can do at home. The first culprit, if you have no audio, would be probably your headphone jack down here. When the headphones are plugged in, it actually turns off the speaker. And the way they know that is there's a contact in there. When you put the jack in, contact closes and it knows that there is a headphone plugged in. So if you plug in headphones, not sure if you can hear that, but I do hear audio coming out. So that tells me that, hey, at least we're getting audio to the jack and it's not something on the board. When I pull the headphones out, I hear crackling audio through the speaker. So that kind of isolates it directly to the speaker. If you had similar symptoms or even more, it could be somewhere else in the board, could just be dirty. So we're going to take this open. We're going to look at this headphone jack. I'll show you some cleaning techniques to that, and then we'll replace the speaker. So power off, game out. Take your batteries out. All this uses is a tri-wing, so we'll get our tri-wing bit. Be careful and flip the screen up. You don't want to damage this ribbon cable down here. To make things easier, we are going to just remove this. So just gently rock the ribbon cable out. And now we have our top and our bottom. So let's look at this connector down here. This is just a Phillips. So this is where you'd plug your headphone jack into. Get these screws out of the way. So I'm not sure if you can tell, you do kind of see where the connectors are. And when the headphone jack goes in, not only does it make a connection for audio going to the jack, but it also tells the Game Boy that, hey, there's headphones plugged in, turn off the speaker. One thing I always like to do when I get any sort of Game Boy in to work on, get some contact cleaner, spray it in the slot all over this, just get it really, really soaked. Take your headphone jack, plug it in and out a couple times to clean that off. 9 times out of 10, that'll fix the problem. If not, what you can do is you can remove this board, just the whole board, soak it in some vinegar. If there's any corrosion on there, the vinegar will eat that away. And I think I've only had to do that once or twice. Typically, it has to be really bad and you have other issues with the rest of the Game Boy. But contact cleaner does it 9 times out of 10. I always like to do that anyway, even if you don't have audio issues, just to clean up the contacts in general. While you're in here, might as well get contact cleaner and clean your contrast and volume wheels as well. I'm not going to do it because I was in this Game Boy recently and I did that before. So down here we can see our original 8-ohm speaker. Here is our replacement. So we're going to desolder, take the speaker out. To make this a little easier, we are going to remove this board, and these are all Phillips. that's soldered in. We'll get this all buttoned back up and we'll test it out. I am going to want to test this before we get everything put back together, so we'll put our game in, throw some batteries in. Oh, that sounds better. We heard the Nintendo ding. Sounds a lot louder. It's not tinny. Much better. That sounds exactly the way it should be. So let's get this all buttoned back up and we'll switch over to the Game Boy Pocket. A lot of times when you have controls that feel mushy or unresponsive, then regardless if it's a Game Boy or a controller for a console, a lot of times it could be the pad. We have a little rubber pad on there with the contact, and that makes contact with the motherboard, and that's how we know if we're pressing a button or moving around. They get old, and it wouldn't be surprising if I actually had to replace some of them on this Game Boy. More likely, it's probably just dirty. We might be able to get in here, clean it up really good, and that can resolve this. I don't think it really needs replaced because it does work. I just have to push a little harder than what I expect. So we'll take this apart, we'll show you how to clean it, and we'll look at the pads on there. And like I said, you could pick these pads up on a lot of different resellers, on eBay if you choose. It's not that extensive of a repair. So very similar, cartridge and batteries out. And again, we're going to use our Y-tip. We do have to take the board off, so we're going to need a Phillips for that. Be careful of the ribbon cable, and also pay attention to the power switch when you put it back in. You want to make sure that the tabs line up. All right, so here are the buttons. I'll take the A and B out to show you. Basically, they're going to make contact here as you push down. It's going to push that up, and it's going to make contact on the board, and that's how we know we need to move. A lot of times, especially for used, a lot of these contacts get dirty, and it looks pretty shiny, but we're going to clean it up anyway. I like to use 91% alcohol, higher if you can get, and we're just going to start cleaning. Before we get all the screws in the back, we'll just power it up and see if we make an improvement. Up and down feels better already. Let's get into the game. Oh yeah, that's much better now. I don't have to push down as hard to move around. That's great. That's great. So we'll get this button back up and we'll kind of wrap up this video. All right, well, that's going to wrap this up. Now we have two perfectly working Game Boys again. You know, a lot of times when you run into issues with the Game Boys, it's not really serious. It could just be some gunk and dirt built up here. Like the speaker, yeah, we had to get a new speaker and replace it, but could have easily been the headphone jack on it. And let's be honest, both of these are pretty easy and inexpensive repairs. For the pocket over here, yeah, we just had to clean some gunk off the board. As I was looking on it, it looks maybe at one time we had some battery leakage on there. I'm not sure if it got to the other side. We got that cleaned up as well. Now, we could go out and buy new pads, and it would just prolong this working even longer, but I think we're going to get a lot of years out of this one as is, and it's just a lot more responsive. It's amazing how much the improvement on it is just really, really great. All right, so that's going to wrap this episode up. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.